control to turn that TV down.
There you are.
Hey, what's up,
Hey.
everybody? I'm not paying attention. Sorry.
It's
Got a lot
okay.
going on in the background. How things going?
Pretty good with me, and you're busy for your
Yeah,
weekend.
you busy with your podcast, and I try to watch. I'm either at work or something's
Thank you.
going on, but at least I try to watch, and I do share them. So
And I know, and thank you. I appreciate it. We got a good group. We can do
yeah,
it.
it's awesome. Even if I can watch for just like 2, 5, 10 minutes, I try to watch every single one of them. So just say, hey, what's up? How's it going? And all that. But yeah, I feel like a chicken with my head cut off, running around a circle with this coming up for the weekend and everything. But yeah.
Yes, you do.
So tonight, everybody, I'm excited.
Yes.
Brandon, oh my God.
Brandon was making.
I'm not gonna repeat. Y'all can read it. I'm not gonna repeat.
I think you watched some of that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna repeat what he said, but it's pretty funny. But anyways, I'm excited tonight, guys.
Yes.
These next guests I've known for a long time, and I just recently got really talk to them and meet them, and I can't wait for Saturday to meet them in person. They're incredible. The one, the only, Michael and Marti Parry. Now,
yay!
Hello.
Hey,
how you guys
welcome.
doing? Thank you guys so much for being on the show tonight. I'm really excited about this. Like I said, I've known you guys for a while. You're in California. Now you're in Kentucky, which I'm really excited about because now we're closer and everything. But yeah, it's great to have you guys on the show tonight. We're gearing up for this weekend for our Shadows and Spirits Paracon at the famous Thomas House in Red Boiling Springs, Tennessee. It's going to be exciting. So I guess
forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait. And like I said, I finally got to, talk to you guys more and everything. And I've been following you guys for a long time. So if you don't, go ahead and, tell us for people who don't know, and they should know, and I don't know why they don't know about you guys. So if just introduce yourselves, and for those that don't know, kind of just your brief introduction, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you do.
Well, this is Doodler, and I'm Babbler.
Yeah, he's the babbler because he does all the talking, and I'm the doodler because I draw.
That's a good team name.
Doodler and Babbler.
Yeah. They'll be like, what? Yeah.
So Marti is a medium in her own right, so she can draw, see people, and feel them, and she hears some stuff, but
not an awful lot.
She doesn't hear as good as me, so that's why I do the babbling, and I can see them, but not as clear as she does. So she does the drawing. So, but often I know who she's drawing. So we've been, So we've been doing this a long time now, and
1997 was the first.
Wow,
I did.
That was the first drawing she did.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Sessions before that, but.
And I had to kind of drag her in. Come on.
Yeah.
In and draw.
Yeah. So, and also, for everybody that doesn't know, you guys have been. That's where I first saw you guys. Was on I can't remember what episode it was. I don't know if it was the Battle of LA or whatever it was, but one of them I saw you guys. I'm like, oh my goodness, these guys are awesome. And then I saw Marti draw, and I'm like, whoa. I mean, you guys, you need to see this. It's incredible. But you guys have been on Ghost Adventures and a couple other things. You've been on
we were on one episode of Paranormal State.
Paranormal Investigators.
Psychic Investigators.
Yeah.
A show called Proof Positive.
My Ghost Story.
My Ghost Story.
Yeah, that's another favorite one of mine. My Ghost Story caught on camera. Yeah,
we were even on Dirk. What's his name?
Oh yeah,
the skateboard guy out in LA, Dirk something or other.
I'm not into that.
MTV. Anyway, yeah, we had a bit of fun with him. So
yeah, you guys, they've been on. But let me tell you guys something. For our Paracon this Saturday, May 3rd, in Red Boiling, Tennessee, at the famous Thomas House. They're going to be a guest there. We're going to be set up. And then they're going to have their mediumship group. I think it was it 7:30, 9:30, whatever it was.
7:30, yeah.
Yeah. And then we're gonna have the ghost hunt afterwards. But yeah, it's gonna be. Let's see. Hello from California. Hey, Steve.
Steve.
Wow.
Oh, hi, Steve.
Hey,
Yeah.
hi, Steve.
Yeah.
He's
But
the mafia grandfather.
Oh, the mafia grandfather.
What?
Right. Yeah,
What are we talking about?
Apparently, we brought through Steve's grandfather, or they talked about him, who was
Really?
he was a hitman for the mob, what do they call it, the Murder Inc.
Oh,
Yeah, his grandfather was a hitman.
wow. So, Michael, the other day you were telling me, if you don't mind repeating it, about the story when you guys were with Dave Schrader at the Stanley Hotel. Was that it? And that certain person came through? Would you mind telling that again?
Wyatt Earp.
Was it?
Wyatt Earp appeared. I was a bit surprised, and I asked him what he was doing here, and he said someone in the audience is related to me. And sure enough, they were. And I think I did a session with them later. And
did you say, Marty, you drew John Denver?
Yeah, John Denver showed up.
Yeah.
It was he appeared, and that was interesting. We were down at the cafe having breakfast, and all I could think about was him for like the whole hour.
Hey, Bruce.
Kind of weird. And then we went up, and he showed up.
Now, why would I'm not, as long as I've been doing this a long time, but I'm always trying to find answers to everything. But like, if someone tries to connect with a loved one, it's like they can basically go wherever they want. Is that correct? Like,
they don't have to. Yeah, they don't have. You don't have to be there and have objects and all of that. Well, not with us anyway. I think that's a lot to do with the spiritualist ideas of trying to summon people up, that you have to do all these different things to get them there, and I don't really believe in all that, because I've seen them in all kinds of places. So
I remember. So I know everybody probably asks you guys all the time because sorry, excuse me. Me and Michael were talking the other day, and we were talking about, when they were on the show with Zach and everything. And, he pretty much gave his opinion on that. But, people ask you all the time, well, what was it like to film with Zach? Out of all the episodes that you guys done with Ghost Adventures, do you have a favorite, or do you have one that didn't turn out how you thought it would turn out?
No, they all really turned out pretty good, but
I think I like the Dorothea Puente.
Yeah, the Dorothea Puente one was probably the best one, because that was the one where I let the guy take me over,
and that's why I drew her.
And I didn't.
That was crazy.
He was a cool guy. He'd just been murdered.
Yeah,
he wasn't a bad person or anything, so I felt comfortable letting him.
Yeah, that was a crazy story, but I think, and it's hard for me to choose, but if I have to choose, I think one of my favorites was the Cecil Hotel. What are your guys' thoughts on the Cecil Hotel? Do you think that she was...
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, on the Cecil Hotel, do you think that she was murdered and put in the tank?
Yeah. I didn't know. Like, that all started to come back at the end, like afterwards, I realized that, things started to drop into place, but there were things that came to me that I never said. I felt somebody called Dahlia. Well, that I should have said it, but I didn't know she'd been at the hotel.
You were thinking.
Yeah, I know. There was a lot.
I'm sure,
because there's a lot in that place. So I had to kind of just get them to stick to certain things. Otherwise, I would have been all over the map.
And I think Richard Ramirez was with us from the very beginning, because when we were downstairs in the lobby, I kept telling Michael, there's a man that's right behind me up on the railing there.
Yeah, there was like a landing. If
Yeah.
you watch the show, Zach's standing on some stairs.
Mezzanine, that's what's called.
Yeah, there was a mezzanine.
Mezzanine, yeah, I remember that.
He
Yeah.
said, yeah, there's a guy up there, and I looked up and I could see him, and he said,
and he kept like swanning around, like he thought he was really good looking.
Yeah,
he was a ladies' man.
Yeah, and then he kind of zoomed off. He disappeared down the hallway.
Him and I mean, you know, the whole case. I can't remember her name. The one that, you know, the video of her in the elevator and everybody, and
yeah, I don't know. I can't remember her name.
I can't remember her name. You know, old age, but
tell you the name.
But with that, I mean, it's like maybe. Well, the cop said, "Oh yeah, she was floating in, and someone put her in there." And just like with the Richard Romero case and everything, you know, a lot of, especially with her, maybe, you know, you don't know, or the Black Dahlia and all those murders out in California.
Well, I could tell you what I think about that. But
go ahead.
I think the Black Dahlia. It's just what came to me the other day thinking about it. I think that she was part of a service network.
Oh,
and she got killed to silence her. I think she knew some stuff
too much.
Yeah.
That was a brutal murder.
Yeah, that was a way to shut people up. Like, this is what's going to happen.
Cutting them in half, I guess. Yeah, that'll shut you up real quick.
Oh yeah.
But some of those, and a lot of these, I think that, and it's good having someone like you guys too. Now, have the police ever come to you and say, "Hey, we need your help on this case"? Has that ever happened?
Oh, we've worked on lots of cases, but they're not known publicly. I mean,
that's what why we were on the psychic investigators, is because we solved a murder up in Napa Valley, California.
Whoa!
And,
but we you know the Jacob Wetterling?
Yes.
Case?
Yeah,
we solved that case.
Nice.
You're not going to hear anything about it.
You're not going to hear anything about it.
Well, no, but you know, I know they got to keep a lot of that quiet and everything.
Well, it's not really. It's the criminal psychologist that we were working with that brought us in to try and solve the case. He knew the detective who was trying to get the guy to talk, the guy they found in the town, but he wouldn't confess to anything. So our friend went, told the detective. He said, okay, because he was about to give up because the guy wasn't going to confess to anything to do with Jacob. So he went to him and he said, listen, go back in there and tell him this, and this, which was all the stuff that Marty and I had come up with. And he confessed.
Whoa. Now, I'm sure
if we hadn't worked on that case, he couldn't have said anything to him and he would never have confessed to it. So that would never have been solved.
Now, I know, just like with the paranormal and everything, there are skeptics, and I'm sure you guys have skeptics too, but like with working with the police or whoever, is there anyone on there like saying, yeah, right, psychic mediums, what a bunch of baloney? I mean, do you get that too?
Of course, but we've had atheists. I had an atheist brought to us once in a studio.
Whoa.
And at the end, he was bawling.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I don't mind. I kind of get a kick out of it watching the skeptics, their faces. You know,
one of my favorite times was when we had a couple come to our house, and they just looked like a normal middle-aged couple. And Michael was getting that you're something like a cop.
Well, I said to the spirit people, "What does this guy do?" "Oh, he's like a cop." And he laughed and he said, "Yeah, I'm an FBI agent." And I said, "Oh, you're here because you think I'm going to scam your wife?" And he laughed. He said, "Yeah,
hey, Brandy,
that's why I'm here."
Yeah.
And Marty drew a Chinese guy with a Fu Manchu,
bald head.
I mean, archetypal Fu Manchu Chinaman.
Yeah.
And gave him the picture. And
it's like,
I said, "Well, obviously,
family."
I said, "Obviously, he's not family." I said, "But." This guy knows you and he's come here to thank you for what you did in prison for him. And he was looking at the picture and he said, yeah, he looks like someone I know that was in prison. And I said, well, his name's Wu. And he said, that's who this is. He said, is that he was Chinese mafia. And I work with Asian mafia. That's my job. And he had that framed and he put it in his office in LA, and other FBI agents knew who it was. And they're like, where'd you get the picture of Wu? And he wouldn't tell them.
See, guys, that's what I'm telling about. I mean, you know,
so he became a firm believer, and then I did a session with him a little while later because I was told about an assassination that was going to happen to do with Obama, and I thought, well, I got to do something about this. So I called him up and we did a session, and one of the people that came in was a friend of his who was a detective who committed suicide, and he knew who it was. Wow. And I actually have the recording of it, and I have the end of the recording even on my phone. And basically, it was all about Osama bin Laden.
What?
Yeah. He was but I thought it was
Obama it was, assassinated Osama.
I thought it was about Obama getting assassinated, but it was Osama.
That is crazy.
So everything I said was that he's in a building with a private home, like a big house with a wall, high wall around it, Pakistan, all this stuff I said. And he said, well, there's going to be a team of assassins, but only a single shooter. And he said,
only one.
And he said to me, when is this going to go down? And I said, this coming Sunday. And it was nearly a week. And I said, it's coming this Sunday about 3:00. And he said, okay. You sure? I said, yeah, right around 3:00 on Sunday. This is going to happen. And he said, I've got a friend who's in the Secret Service, and I'll think how to tell him without him thinking I'm crazy. And he laughed. And I said, okay, well, if you can do something about it, it'd be awesome. So he told his friend, and apparently they told the Secret Service that protect the president. And following Sunday at 3:10 Washington time,
I remember that. Yeah,
Laden was assassinated.
Yep. And then when
he got back to me and he said, my friend in the Secret Service was very impressed. He said, you might get a visit from him.
No.
Pam has a question, and I'm asking her, what is your question for you guys?
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask something while she's typing.
Okay.
How did you? How can I put this? How did you know that you could? Or how did you find out that you could draw what you see, hear, know?
Actually, I've always been an artist, and
a really good one.
It was Michael that.
I went to work one day and I said, look, why don't you sit down and draw someone today? Just tune in and just come up with someone, and we'll figure out who he is.
That's
and I got home and she'd drawn this guy, and she says, I don't know who he is. And I said, no, I don't recognize him either.
So I just put it on the coffee table, and that night we were having a small,
like a little meditation circle
group.
And the first one over was this younger woman.
Yeah, and she picked up the picture and said, oh my God, that's my boss that was murdered a year ago to the day.
It's the anniversary of his death today.
Whoa.
And he was a multi-millionaire. He lived maybe 2 miles away up on Palos Verdes Hill. He'd been murdered. He had given away $90 million or something like that before he died. He was a cool dude, and he was like a father figure to her. So she brought in the newspaper clippings, and there, sure enough, that was him.
That is good. Marty, I noticed, when watching you on Ghost Adventures or whatever, when Michael's talking, is there a reason that you? Oh, there's a question. Anyways, let's stop there. I'll get to that.
Here we go.
Okay.
All right. Can you guys see the question? All right. I can read it if you can.
I still read it. Get headache. Hear voices. I'm trying to learn what to do with it. Start being blurred. Scrolling during readings, but I'm not reading good. Well, I'll basically simplify it for you. It's you have to really concentrate, and you have to even if you get just a couple of things clear, just get those couple of things. Don't try and
listen to everybody.
Yeah,
around you.
don't try and do too much. You know, you'll just get it all jumbled up. So just start off by, I'll give you an example. When I first did this for real, full on, the only thing this lady said to me on the side was Gables. She kept saying Gables, say Gables. Well, I'm a carpenter, and I kept thinking, well, what's the end of a roof got to do with anything? You know,
Right.
Anyway, I said it. Well, their relative wrote Anne of Green Gables, so it was like, oh wow, you know, yeah, duh. But I didn't understand it. You don't have to understand it.
Yeah.
You simply have to write it down or say it, and after a long time, you'll get the hang of it, and you'll be able to have more of a conversation back and forth.
Also, you got to figure out why are they contacting you. I mean, there's got to be a reason. They don't waste their time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly. I mean, you know, there are people that I think are sort of a little bit nutty. They walk around all day saying, "Oh, they're all around me all the time," and they're just
little?
and I'm like, "Oh, for God's sake, give me a break."
Yeah.
You know, when we're professional mediums, we sit down and we're deliberate about things. There are occasions where I see people randomly, but there's got to be a reason for it. And I'm not walking around the supermarket like some people say, you know, on TV do, and they go, "Oh yeah, I've got my hat on." And I'm walking around and I see going up to strangers. No, I don't do that stuff. You know,
So,
it's you got to be disciplined. You got to be precise. You see, I just have to say what comes. No, I don't do that, Michael. Is that what you're saying,
Yeah.
Pam?
yeah, I don't understand that.
I
Maybe
mean,
she's
I might
talking
have to
about
go
what
back and read that question myself because I'm. Hold on.
Don't understand, Pam.
I don't. Yeah, sorry,
Okay,
Pam.
let's-
Oh, okay. I think maybe it was something that you said, Michael, at the end, and telling her, you know, just to take her
Oh,
time.
she
there.
didn't walk up to people in stores. I think maybe.
No, I don't
Okay.
mean you. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying some people do that. You know, they're
Well,
Yeah, I don't walk. Here we go. I don't walk around.
yeah.
yeah. I'm not saying you.
I
do.
would say more than some, but you know, we that's a whole nother subject. But getting back to what I was saying, I noticed, Marty, when I'm, you know, on the shows, whatever, watching you do it, that you have your little earbuds or headphones in. Is there a reason?
Well, initially that was just so that Marty wouldn't hear.
So I'm not influenced by anything. That
Oh, okay.
Like if I'm seeing a guy with a beard,
I might draw somebody, and that's like, oh, you must have a beard, you know.
Okay.
Subconsciously, I'm doing
yeah,
a
we
beard
did it. We did it so that we'd have like a wall between us, so that she wouldn't be influenced by anything I'm saying.
I don't
Yeah.
do it anymore.
We're beyond that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you know, it's been a while since you guys have been on there, so I thought.
Yeah. So that was, and also it helped her focus if she's in front of cameras and all of that. You know, she's trying to.
That can be really distracting. I know that all too well.
Yeah.
You try to be yourself and everything, and you know, when I was on,
or be someone else.
don't. Hey, man, don't even get me started on that. We'll be here for a week talking about that, Michael. So, but yeah, it just no. And me and Michael were talking the other day, and we were talking about, you know, I'm not going to get on here and blast anybody, but we were talking about the TV mediums and some of them and things that I have heard and know. And Michael was telling me some things that he you know, but I think it's all about, I don't think it's necessarily what you believe. It's like these persons, like you're talking about, Michael, they come out and say, well, you know, just driving down the road or at the laundromat, hey, do you got a dead grandmother? Well, shit, who doesn't have a dead grandmother?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. And I guess they call it cold readings or whatever, but it's watching you guys and actually seeing what you can do. And it's not necessarily proving what you can do. It's actually knowing what you can do. And I'm telling you guys, if no one has seen them where have you been? Under a rock. But yeah, and I think that's what it is, especially with, when the paranormal became really popular, then it was ghost hunters and ghost adventures, and there was like 9 million shows now and 9 million YouTubers doing it. It's hard to, while these people are mediums, all of a sudden, yeah, Pam, you're gonna love them. I'm telling you, I'm telling you that right now. You're gonna absolutely love them. But seeing that, I'm gonna be a medium now, and like you said, Michael, walking up to people. I mean, there's even people on YouTube claiming to be mediums. I'm like, where'd you come from? And when the paranormal became popular, it was like a huge explosion of people, that came out. So, I'm a psychic medium.
I understand it. I mean, everyone. Okay.
Now maybe they were. I don't know.
Everyone has the equipment to be a psychic. Let's put it that way. You have a psychic antenna in your body. It's called the vagus nerve. You have you have a psychic body. A psychic vehicle that you're in. You have a mental vehicle. You have an emotional body. You have various layers to being a human being. So, but things can damage your ability to be a psychic. Like my teacher said, don't get in water that's too hot. You can damage the vagus nerve. Don't sit in a bath full of really hot water. Don't do that.
Right.
You'll damage the nerve. So there's lots. Drugs will damage you. People, you see kids when they're very young, they're very connected to the spirit world. A lot of them. Some of them have had bad previous lives, so they don't like to talk about things, or don't like to, they don't want to talk about that stuff. So they just grow up. But everyone's different. But there are quite a large number of children who are very connected, very aware of the spirit world until they're maybe 5 or 6. But then adults start shutting them down because their ignorance. That's ridiculous. Oh, stop talking about that. Oh, that's evil, or whatever,
Yeah.
Or their problems they project onto the kid. So as you grow up, I was always a dreamer. So I kind of hung on to my intuition, I suppose, and remained sort of very intuitive.
Yeah.
And, luckily enough, I met all the right people and developed this ability early on. But and it's a purpose to it. I'm not doing it to be famous. Neither. We're not doing this to be famous. We've been doing it to do healing. It's a work. It's that's what it's about. The fact that doing the TV stuff is just kind of something that happened.
Hey, Sheila.
It wasn't. We didn't seek it. We never called people up. They called us out of the blue. Will you do something with Psychic Investigators? Sure. You want to be on Ghost Adventures? Sure. We didn't actively pursue it. So they just called us out the blue, these people. We knew some of them, but we didn't badger them or bug them to be on the shows and things, they just happened.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way things work. As far as Hollywood goes, they have their agenda, and they do, they do like demonic stuff and all the dark stuff, because it's like porn. It sells. It's easy to make. It's dark. It sells. It makes money.
Well, you're right. I'm
not really interested in that.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Because a lot of times I wish I could go back to when I started. I started doing this in 87, but didn't really get into it till we moved here in 97 to Tennessee. And at that time, there was nothing. There was barely any internet, and you could go here and you go here without having to worry about anything and get into places. But now, because of the popularity of the shows and everything, and I really wish sometimes I could go back to the very beginning and stay there and, the way things were then compared to how they are, how crappy the paranormal has gotten, in our world and what you guys do and everything. It's gotten out of hand where it's backstabbing, it's lying, it's, telling lies and everything. And it's sad where it's gotten to, but hopefully, it'll get straightened out where everything, will be okay. And like I told you the other day, Michael, I've had interactions with different one particular, I wouldn't even use the word psychic medium, but yeah, I can see how people are say what they say, about, yes, Hollywood sells anything dark, and that's everything now, but it's what, how they say stuff and everything. But yeah, I sometimes I wish I could.
Hollywood's always had this dark underbelly to it.
Well, that's a good word.
So if you have the good stuff that's come out of Hollywood, there's always a bright side to things. But like I say, it's very it's what was the thing on the show the other night? It's like the dark side's very easy and it's slippery. It's an easy road going down the dark.
Yeah,
it's easy. Being on the bright side of things is a lot harder because you have a lot more to overcome. You have to overcome things, and people being people. It's always been this way. There's always been infighting in metaphysics and groups. Even black magic groups have their infighting. It's been going on for forever.
We've had
unfortunately, yeah.
Us.
No. Yeah. Well, let's not.
I don't dwell on. I'm just saying, yes.
It happens.
We've had it happen to us.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. You just gotta kind of par for the course. Like attracts like, but like attracts its opposite.
It does.
Because sometimes, you've got to confront someone or something. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. Marty and I like to keep things on a light note. All the shows we did, we try and keep it kind of light. You have to. You can't be pushed around by anything. You just have to try and keep it upbeat because that's how you stay connected to the higher realms. You can't if you want to go in there and be possessed by lower astral entities. That's quite easy. You just gotta think negative, and that's easy. And before you know it, you're being,
well, that sells too. Who wants to? Like I tell people. I tell people, and that's one reason I want to do the show with Jason and them, because I want to know what it was like to do a TV show. And of course, I want to meet them, but doing it, I'm like, no, I would never want to do a paranormal show. And all these people, that's all they do is trying to be famous and well known and everything. It's like, if I go and sit in a location for 8 hours and get nothing, does anybody want to see that? No. They want to see things flying. They want to hear, oh, dude, it's a demon. Run. Let's do this to this person. Let's do that to that person. And they don't want to see.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot of pressure on the people trying to make something dramatic every episode.
I'm just really happy with all of the things we did with Ghost Adventures, because those guys really did allow us to do just our own thing. They didn't try and influence us. They kept everything quiet. They never told us anything. It was great. I couldn't have wanted better.
Well, what was the one?
It was really quite magical, all the things we did with them.
What was the one, Michael, where you guys came in blindfolded? Was that airport? It was an army base.
We did it a couple of times. We did it at we did it three times. No, we did it 3 times. We did it Dorothy Puente Murder House. We did it at the theater, the silent movie theater.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We did that. They drove us there in blindfold, so I didn't know where it was. Didn't know we could have been in any movie theater. I had no idea where we were.
Yeah.
And also in the airfield,
Mm.
the air base.
Nothing.
That was weird too, because they come and pick us up, put the blindfolds on, and then they park the car, and then they take us to, I didn't even know what it was. It was a golf cart. So we're sitting on the back of a golf cart with the blindfolds on.
And then they split us up, and they took her and put her in like a little locker room somewhere.
Oh.
And so I didn't know where she was at all, and I had no idea where I was.
Pam asks, "Do you believe that tragedy can heightened abilities for some?"
Yes, it can.
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary, but a lot of mediums, a lot of psychics or mediums have been through traumatic stuff, and if you're balanced, mentally balanced, and you work through it all, you can use that. You can use that to, because it gives you more empathy for everything.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
If you've had a lot of pain and trauma in your life and you understand it, then it makes you very empathetic towards everyone you're.
Now, what are your thoughts on people say, well, I died for 3, 10, 15 minutes and I came back. Now I can talk to the dead.
Well, you don't have to die. I didn't have to die.
Right.
I had out of the body experiences and things like that, and so my encounters with who I just made me more and more aware that that this was there was no death, and my experience, from when I was my late teens, I did a lot of Tibetan mantra work.
Oh wow.
A lot of meditation and deep stuff, and I did healing. So I learned to do hands-on healing when I was 20, and I did it almost a couple of times a week. I was doing it on strangers at public that would come into my teacher's place, and so for several years that's all I did, healing.
Yeah, I think Pam was. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you do psychic work, which is what healing is, it opens you up. You're healing others, and in healing others, you heal yourself. And so prayer work, really powerful prayer work, real prayer work, where you're sending energy and love to others, or some other objective to bring about world peace or whatever it is. When you're moving that kind of energy regularly on it, you're going to become psychic, period. You just are.
Wow.
And then you have to learn how to handle it and what to do with it. You have to understand.
Right. Yeah.
You have to decide what you're going to do with it. A lot of people suffer psychic frustration because they're psychic, but they don't know what to do with it. So they don't
understand, right? Yeah.
They don't get drunk, or they get angry, or all kinds of things happen to people that have psychic frustration. Yeah. So you have to have an outlet for it.
Yeah.
You have a psychic body, and it's got to go somewhere,
Yeah. Pam says, Marty, if you were to sketch the best thing you ever experienced, what would that sketch be? Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, that'd be hard. Mm-hmm. Which sketch?
Which one of my sketches, or an event in my life?
Yeah, if you were to sketch the best thing that you ever experienced, what would the sketch be?
Oh yeah, your experience.
Besides meeting Michael.
God.
I think there's been a couple of times that I had an experience that was just overwhelming to me. The first time, because I do have other artists that come through and help me, and the first time that I felt Van Gogh.
Oh, no way.
Shadow me. I was.
Well,
just,
she was just sitting there and she couldn't speak.
I
And
cou-
I said, "What's
I
wrong?
couldn't even
What's
tell
up?"
him about it at first.
She's like, I said, "What's wrong?" She said,
Whoa, that would have been awesome.
It's
A little
awesome.
scary.
I
A
can
little
always
scary.
tell when he helps me too, because
Yeah.
actually I can draw better than him. So
Well, that would be
Well,
cool.
people, yeah, he wasn't a
very
people
good at
drawer. He
people.
didn't draw
You could draw
people.
something inspired by him and say, hey, you know, Van Gogh help me draw this up. I think I'm going to sell it. It's a Van Gogh Marty
Well,
one of a kind painting.
she drew.
I actually drew Van Gogh once.
She drew the great uncle of a lady that used to know Van Gogh, and she has the letters that he wrote back and forward with Van Gogh. And she came to a session some years later, and we didn't remember who she was. So she sat down, and Marty drew this guy, and she goes, "Oh, you've drawn Van Gogh."
Whoa!
And we went, "Oh my gosh, you have." And so he had a self-portrait drawn by Marty on that occasion.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Have you guys?
That's the time that I had a really, like a real spiritual experience was when we we went to Italy, and we were in the Sistine Chapel.
Nice.
And it's like, this is my dream. I've wanted ever since I was in grade school to go to the Sistine Chapel. And we're standing there, and it's like, it's really cool and everything. And I was wondering, well, I don't really feel that much. Then all of a sudden, I feel this whoosh, and I was transported for a moment. It was Michelangelo.
Wow. So when you guys are like doing like either on Ghost Adventures or whatever, or like when you're doing your mediumship group, you know, for other people, do you guys ever get like, either you or Michael get emotional when you like contact, like Marty, if you're drawing something and you know it's that person, you guys ever get emotional while doing that?
There's definitely emotions involved. If on many occasions the person speaking to me, I don't know where Gwen went.
I don't know what happens. She gets kicked off every once in a while. But anyways.
There
she is. I'm here.
Right.
Well, I had to stretch my legs, you guys. I've had 2 shows before this. I'm sorry.
Leg syndrome. Yeah, you need stretchy leg syndrome.
Yeah.
There's been lots of times where the spirit person they're thinking about their death or the tragedy, and they're missing their children or whatever it is. And I get overcome to the point I tear up and I can't speak because I'm so choked up. But it's not.
You have to try and not do that.
You have to try and not do that, because I can't. There have been times I can't speak for a second. Hold on. I'm just feeling everything they're feeling, whatever it is.
Right.
And sometimes I just can't speak. And then
I can understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. They died tragically, maybe, and they're missing their family and their kids, and they couldn't be there for them, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
And
that's understandable. So let's talk really quick, because we got about what, Gwen, 10, 11 minutes left.
Well, let's about talk, 9 actually.
9, okay. So let's
talk 9 minutes.
9
minutes. You know what I mean?
I'm working on it.
She's got another show. But let's talk really quick about this Saturday. So everybody, this Saturday, as everybody know, is finally coming. It's our spirits. Shadows and Spirits Paracon is going to be at the Thomas House in Red Boiling Springs. Of course, Marty and Michael are gonna be there. We're gonna be set up, and then after the con is from 9 to 6, and then from 7:30 to 9:30, I think. Yeah, it's gonna be the mediumship group that they're gonna be doing, and then we're gonna be having an overnight ghost hunt. So here's the deal. It's $10 to get into the con. You can find all that information over at Ghosts of Tennessee, Rutherford County Paranormal Investigations. It's all there. Now, if you would like to go to the mediumship group, hit it, Marty. How can they get tickets for that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah, it's not like an easy
Yeah.
way to go.
Yeah. I've got their information. There's a picture of them, and then there's a poster that Marty made with all the information, and that's at Ghosts of Tennessee too. And I'm going to keep doing it every day until the con. And you can go to that website and purchase a ticket, early bird. You can still get them at the door, cash only though, at the door of the night of that.
A little bit more expensive at the door. So
yeah, so go ahead. So go ahead and get them online. And also, what we're doing is we're going to be having a silent auction the day of, and this is just some of them that we have. Like it's a 1-hour private reading with Appalachian Gypsy Healing Arts. They're going to be there. A friend of mine makes paranormal equipment, Amy Dodson. She's going to be donating a REM pod. And then I've got from Amanda Fasciano, autograph 5-book series, the Life After series. And then there's a bone reading by Chrissy Johnson. And then another friend of mine draws horror portraits. She's donating an 8x10 Hellraiser portrait. And then my friends over at Haunted Taxi, You Haunted, are giving two wherever they have it's a taxi cab that takes you to haunted locations and lets you use equipment. They're donating 2 spots for that wherever they have their taxi thing at. And I'm not sure because I know there's none in Tennessee yet, but they're coming here. But that's just a little bit of what we're going to be donating, and everything that is raised from the ticket sales, from the auction and everything, is being donated to the Thomas House. This will be my 22nd or 23rd time going since 2015. And it's like family. It's like going to your grandmother's house. They got incredible breakfast and dinner buffet. And at nighttime when we ghost hunt, I take my shoes off and just in my socks and we walk around. I'm telling you, it's like
That's cool.
It's like going to your grandmother's house. I mean, Daryl and Cherry Cole are amazing people. They've had it, I think, since the early 80s or early 90s that they've had the Thomas House. But it's going to be incredible, guys. So go to Ghosts of Tennessee. I have all the information there for the tickets for Michael and Marty to buy tickets for the mediumship group, which I am absolutely thrilled that I'm going to be a part of that. You know, and we're really lucky to have you guys. What?
He's hearing a dead
No, Bruce is telling me something, and I'm
not. I thought you were talking to Van Gogh there for a second.
Yeah, he's telling me, Marty, sell those pictures. No, but yeah, guys, just go over there. Every day until Friday. Excuse me. What?
He's hearing dead people again.
Yeah,
there he is.
No, I'm here.
It's the live ones, yeah.
Yeah, the live ones. Steve. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Pam's gonna be there. She's got a new book. A new book autographed with the. Oh, nice.
Oh,
Even I was. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Okay. She's got a new book, and cool. she's gonna be there. But all the information, guys, is over Ghost of Tennessee and. How many, Gwen? Oh my goodness! All access, outer realm. I can't even. There's so many. I can't even remember.
Tons. I don't know.
There's too many to mention, guys.
Yeah.
There's too many.
I won't be able to be there, but I hope everything goes great. You guys have a good
next
time.
year.
I have
Maybe
my powwow on Saturday,
Gwen and Lee have their powwow, and I think we might be kidnapping him from that to bring him, but Lee would be like, oh, okay, let's go. But anyways, all that's gonna be on there, guys. It's fresh ticks. All you got to look up is Shadows and Spirits Paracon. $10. I mean, you're gonna get a lot of entertainment. We're gonna be there. Michael and Marty. We got a bunch of people coming. Appalachian Gypsy Healing Arts, Lightworkers Paranormal. I mean, there's. Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. But yeah, guys, it's going to be awesome. And it's from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then we're going to take a break. We're going to eat a little dinner. And then we're going to have the mediumship group. And then our overnight ghost hunt. And I don't know, Friday night, guys, it's just going to be us. I think there's not going to be a whole lot of us there Friday night, so maybe we can just relax and everything, and we need to set up and everything. But yeah, guys, just go over there, and I will have the link, the flyer that Marty sent me. I'm telling you guys, and I'm not just saying this for their sake or anything. You really do not want to miss them. This is a once in a lifetime chance for this, and there's going to be more chances. But right now, this is the first time, I think, since you guys been in Kentucky, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm thankful that because I've tried to get him here before and it didn't work out because they were in California. When I found out they moved to Kentucky, I was like, woo,
Yay!
yeah, maybe.
We are too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look thrilled. You can tell. Look, Marty's like, yeah, okay, if you say so, you know. But, Michael, yeah,
Well, there's a lot of stuff out
Out here,
you know,
yeah.
older things back here.
It's
telling you.
different.
Yeah,
It's
I'm-
different.
California. I never used to take them.
yeah,
You're
but
driving around because here today, gone tomorrow. They, you know,
yeah, but
they
I was
knock it
telling.
down overnight. You know.
Yeah, I was telling Michael the other day, I said, oh my God, you guys are like in the paranormal central right here, you know, because you got so much. Pam says, thank you for.
Yeah,
create-"
Lee made the cover for the.
Oh, nice. Cool. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
you
told
guys, I hate to cut
Yeah,
it short, but
yeah.
we're gonna have to because
all
I
right.
have another.
But anyways,
show.
Michael
But,
and Marty, thank you guys so much.
Thank
I'll be
you.
in touch probably tomorrow. We
Thank
can
you.
talk some more. Lee,
you. Thank
Lee.
you,
Oh my
Gwen.
God, I'm
you
sorry.
can talk down when I take you down. You can talk after
Okay.
that. Yeah.
But Gwen, thank you. And everybody,
right.
go to Ghost of Tennessee, and I'll have the flyer up for their mediumship group and the ticket link and everything. Thank you guys so much. And we will see you next Monday after the Paracon, and we'll have a lot to talk about.
There
All
you
right.
go. All right. Thank you
Night,
guys. Have a
everybody.
good night.
All right. Good night.
Good night.